3, 2, 1.
And we're back. It's about 2:18. This is James Spann, and we thought we'd just spend some time with you. And let's just stress, today we have no active tornado warnings. We do not expect any tornado warnings. This is not tornado season. The issue today, it's strong straight-line winds with heavier storms and very frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for about the northern half of the state until 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. And as you can see, we have a couple of clusters that are severe. Let's first off look at our Jasper thunderstorm. And again, you can see right here, that's what it looks like in Walker County. It's absolutely pouring. Our Skycam is located right about here, north of Jasper. And again, you can see it's just absolutely pouring at that spot. We've not seen any really strong evidence of damaging wind in the last 30 minutes here. Earlier, we did have trees and lines blown down in parts of western Jefferson County with this storm, but we've had no reports of any damage so far coming out of Walker County. So again, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for a pretty good chunk of Walker County for the storm that is sitting on top of Jasper back up toward Curry, Manchester. And remember, the storms today are moving backwards. Typically, they're moving from west to east. Today, they're moving from east to west, really more northwest as it's coming around an upper high north of the state, simply following that circulation. And we note at the Jasper Skycam, the peak wind gust is just 28 miles per hour. And that's not even close to severe limits. So I have a funny feeling that the Weather Service will probably allow this warning to expire unless something changes. Again, the hail has been small. The winds have been under severe criteria, but again, earlier the winds were much stronger coming through western Jefferson County. Again, we've had reports of trees and lines down in this part of Jefferson County. And basically, this storm complex is trucking right up Interstate 22 up toward Eldridge, Carbon Hill, Kansas, places like that up in northwestern Walker County. And again, you can see what it looks like at the Jasper Skycam, but on the positive side, it's 74 degrees. But again, the peak wind gust at 28. Storm number 2, it's the storm complex that is basically sitting where Cullman, Winston, Lawrence, and Morgan counties all come together. This storm is moving out of Cullman and out of Morgan counties into extreme northeastern Winston and southeastern Lawrence counties in the general area between Addison on U.S. Highway 278 and Moulton up here on Highway 157. And again, within that, it's much like the system that's over Jasper, the cell there. Let's look at the wind velocity, Sadie, real quick on this. And I just don't think we have strong winds at all. And again, this is at radar beam height. You can see 12, 16. The wind fields are very benign here. We just don't see at this point any sign of major damaging wind problems. But again, from time to time, these storms can produce a wet microburst, a little quick burst of thunderstorm winds that can produce tree and power line damage. And the other thing, too, is occasionally when these storms collapse near the end of their life cycle, they can create a big downward rush of wind. That can create some problems here. So again, just be aware of that. What I'm doing really quickly is posting our live coverage up on my Facebook page, which is simply sharing the Alabama Network page. A lot of people watch us on social. So, Emily, what was that warning over there?
We have a severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County.
Yeah, so let's look. This is the new warning. Let's look at high top radar, the radar coming out of Jackson County. And this is going to be a small, severe thunderstorm warning for this one right here. And again, there's evidence there could be some hail falling right here. That's Alabama Highway 75 right here from Gerald Bean back up to Fife, Rainsville, Sylvania. But there could be some hail falling in this part of this thunderstorm that's located south of Fife and northeast of Geraldine. And I think hail is probably the main reason this warning was issued. A pretty good evidence of a hail core right here. So again, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This is for the southern part of DeKalb County. This does not include Fort Payne. Does not include Rainsville, does not include Valley Head, Ida, any place like that. This is down here, down toward Geraldine. This thing is moving to the northwest, and we'll see if that thing holds together. So again, that is a storm that that thing might be moving more southwest at this point. Again, these things are kind of looping around the base of this upper high. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the far southern part of DeKalb County. This will likely stay west of Interstate 59. And again, I think the main concern here is coming from hail. Let's check the wind velocities on this thing real quick before we get off that one storm. And again, there's just not much there. These are very benign winds, so apparently the Weather Service in Huntsville believing there might be hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. That is the severe criteria with that storm that's over DeKalb. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for southern DeKalb County in northeast Alabama for the possibility of hail with that storm as it moves towards the, really this is moving more towards the southwest, but again, there's that hail core that would be about right in through there. So let's go back and look at our storm that is kind of between Moulton and Addison. And again, we'll take a good look at this thing. And again, it's moving to the west. And the core of this, the better chance, and again, this is coming from high top. That's kind of a higher slice. The higher the slice, the more it looks like you've got hail. Sometimes the hail is aloft and it melts down in the low levels. It's not that much. But again, south of Moulton, north of Highway 278. So want to punch up the Double Springs camera in Winston County if we can, up in the top box up here. And we'll point the Double Springs camera back off to the west. I'm sorry, to the east, and get a good look at this thing. Everything's kind of backwards today. So again, let's take that full ride if we can. This will be our Double Springs camera. That's the Winston County Courthouse. And let me just say too also that and if we can Sadie, get the numbers off, the sensor is down. So obviously I promise it's not 54 degrees. What we can do, if we can get one of you in there to take the numbers off, that would be great. And Colby, that might involve you standing up for just a minute. Let Sadie sit there for just a sec. Okay, Colby's going to get that. I don't want people to think that it's 54 degrees. Trust me, it's not. If it was 54 with a dew point of 36, we'd be having a big party right now. So there we go. Thank you. And again, we'll swing that camera. Again, there's a look at the shelf cloud. And again, that's coming from our camera at Double Springs. Let's go to the Moulton camera if we can, up in Lawrence County. We'll kind of look back at this from the other side of this, from the north side. And again, we are so thankful to have this Region Skycam network. It gives us an amazing view into these thunderstorms. Let's take Moulton full. Thank you, Ryan. Again, that's a pretty good look at this thunderstorm that is south of Moulton. And again, notice it's 92 with a dew point of 76. This is pretty much pure tropical air. And again, we don't see those dew points that high that much in Alabama except in July and August. If you're going to have it, it's typically this time of the year. And again, I'm combing through to look for any reports. And again, I've not seen any specific damage reports here lately. So again, that is a look at our severe storm from Moulton. Let's pan that camera to the right if we can a little bit and take a look at the rain shaft. We might be getting a tower leg in here, but that's okay.
There's some storm reports from Huntsville.
Okay.
That a tree was knocked down onto a power line. Power's out at the location at 217 Real Road. And yeah, it says East Powell, core-sized hail near Haluka.
All right, Emily, go ahead. What you got?
I do have some damage reports and pictures as well. If you
All right, let's go to WEX 05 for Emily.
This is in Jasper from just a while ago. So really big tree came down, power lines down. Luckily, it looks like maybe that truck kind of missed the worst of it.
Well, somebody lucked out on that deal.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big concerns here. If a tree like that comes down in a trailer or a camper, you got a problem. So we're fortunate that nobody was hurt, but obviously lines are down there.
Yes, and then additionally, we had a Skywatcher Tyne Wingo report from the Corner Volunteer Fire Department that there's a brush fire that was started by a lightning strike, and he sent a picture of the radar, and there was one lightning strike basically in the exact spot at the time of dispatch, so
okay.
looks to be a reliable report there.
All right, we'll go back to the triple box here. Any other reports, Emily?
No, besides
okay.
that.
All right, thank you. So again, that's a sign of what these storms are capable of doing. And again, in the top box, we have our camera at Moulton. And let's leave it live here, Sadie. We're just going to let this thing stay live here. We're looking down into this storm from the Skycam in downtown Moulton. And that's what you see in the top box. The bottom box, we have the cameras rotating in this part of the state. And again, it looks like the worst of this thing's going to stay south of Alabama 24 here, and then ultimately keep on moving to the west. And again, let's go down to Winston County so you can see both counties. Again, Double Springs is here, Moulton is here, and the storm is basically kind of splitting Highway 24 and U.S. Highway 278 here in the Bankhead National Forest. And of course, if it keeps on moving in that direction, it's going to wind up impacting Haleyville. Now, there's a storm near Haleyville now. That's not severe. That's a weaker storm. And there's also one up here near Bear Creek and Phil Campbell. But the stronger cluster is clearly this, what you see right here, that's in northeastern Winston and southeastern Lawrence counties, again, between Moulton and Double Springs. And again, we're going to watch all these carefully. And there are other showers in progress. Let's look at a big picture real quick. Remember, with these storms, we focus on the more dangerous ones. Let's go to the Birmingham radar. And again, you can see these things. It looks like radar has the measles. If you're underneath one of these showers, it's pouring, lightning popping, windy. But for most of you, it's a sunny, hot summer afternoon. But this is what it looks like with these random scattered showers and storms. So, Sadie, let me let you take it for a couple of minutes. I'm going to bring us up on the live view so they can see us out at the 3340 here.
Yeah, so just to do a little recap here, we've got a new warning that was just extended out more westward because, to recap again, we are viewing storms now. They're moving from the east to the west. So you're used to maybe hearing us talk about them tracking west to east. These are east to west. So you might have thought you were in the clear, Russellville and much of Franklin County, but you guys have now been part of this until 3:30. So that's another hour here as this starts to track out. And I can kind of push this back to show you guys how all the way from I-65 here, about an hour ago, and then they've tracked all the way to the west now through almost Highway 43, south of Russellville there. Phil Campbell just starting to get a few showers as well. Haleyville, as James was just saying. So these are tracking east to west, and so that's why if you just got the alert on your phone for Franklin County, you guys are in the track here for these storms. And the main thing we're looking at is some small hail and some gustier winds, potential for some microbursts. But so far, all of the radar signatures have really just been showing some lighter winds, some strong gusts, but not necessarily a severe level. These are mostly just, preemptive so that as, their potential, they're seeing, National Weather Service seeing a potential for some microbursts. They want to make sure that it's pre-warned. But as of now, I'll go through and just look at the potential for hail. So you can see on the pink here, some of the areas have some possible hail there with the hail tracker, and see some of those pinks, and that's where it's possible. But for the most part, a lot of lightning associated with this, about 36 lightning strikes here these past few minutes, so just something to watch. And that is the cell that, just if you're tuning in from any of these counties as well as Franklin now, was just expanded. But Moulton, you've been seeing it in Lawrence County, in the most very northeastern portions of Winston County, also just north of Addison and Double Springs. You guys are starting to get some downpours as well. But as James was just saying, it's just like, the radar has the measles. There's a lot of very pop-up showers. Most of them aren't severe at this time. They're just a quick downpour, and as quick as you saw it, it's, as quick as it's going to leave. So just something to keep in mind. I'll take a larger view here so you guys can kind of get the gist. But yeah, so it's mostly our northern half of the state. There are still some near Choctaw, Clark County, a few pop-up showers, but by no means are those anywhere severe or, anything strong, just your typical summertime setup. And so we also still have the warning for Walker County, and that's crossing I-22 and Jasper. We might honestly want to look at the Jasper camera again because it's looking like the heavier portions of this probably is near that if the camera is north of Jasper.
I bet you can't see a thing. Let's look at it, Ron.
Yeah,
pull it up full screen. And we got Moulton. In fact, Moulton's up now. Let's take that top box full screen. That's the view coming from Lawrence County, and we'll flip it over to the Jasper camera, and I would imagine you can't see your hand if you stuck it out in front of your face. What you see is what you get, and that's pouring.
And that's because they're in the heaviest part.
But the good part, Sadie, is the wind gust is only 28. The peak wind gust is 28. That's not even remotely close to severe limits. So again, let's go back to the Moulton camera while we got it full screen. And again, this is a look into our storm that is south of Moulton in southern Lawrence County and in northern Winston County. This storm that you see here, this is basically straddling the line of Lawrence and Winston counties. And again, that's a pretty impressive look right there. If you're not in it, if you're not out in it, these summer storms can be remarkable to watch. As a little boy, I just love these things, these summer thunderstorms that pop up on hot days in Alabama. They're fascinating. And quite frankly, they're challenging. For those of us in the weather business, I could not tell you at 7 o'clock this morning it would be raining at that spot at 2:33 this afternoon. We don't have that ability, and summer convection is one of the most frustrating parts of the weather business, but again, they obviously impact a lot of people. And again, this is a severe warned storm that is just south of Moulton, moving through southern Lawrence County. And again, that warning extends into northern Winston. This thunderstorm complex is located between Moulton and Double Springs, between Moulton and the northern tip of Smith Lake. And for those of you in that area, that's what you're dealing with. And this is basically the Bankhead National Forest, which is just an absolute treasure. And that's really an amazing view into the storm. And the Weather Service in Huntsville has extended that warning into Franklin County. So let's go back to the triple box. And again, you can see that we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the western part of Lawrence and the central and eastern part of Franklin counties. And again, it's for this cluster here. There are storms out ahead of this that's up here around Bear Creek, which is right here. And again, these storms may be producing with small hail, but they're not severe. The reason the warning it's issued, it's this stuff you see back here, south of Moulton, northeast of Double Springs. That's the cluster of severe storms based on the potential for hail size. The good news, we're just not seeing any really nasty wind in here. We'll check the wind velocities again. And again, we're just not seeing anything that just sticks out as a severe type wind gust. So it looks like the Weather Service is issuing these warnings mainly for hail potential and not for wind potential. But having said that, again, sometimes within the life cycle of these summer storms and a hot day in the state, you can have a little brief period of strong winds that might be enough to knock down some trees and power lines. At this moment, we're not seeing any evidence of that. But again, that could happen. But the hail, that's the greater concern. Again, you can see the greater hail potential is just north of Addison here along U.S. Highway 278. And again, so there could be some hail. And again, the severe criteria is 1 inch. Not totally convinced we have that with this storm, but it's a possibility. So again, the Weather Service has extended this severe thunderstorm warning downstream farther into Lawrence County and into Franklin County. We also have warnings in effect for southern DeKalb. We'll take a look at our storm here. For that one, we'll change to the high top radar. And this is a storm that's up on top of Sand Mountain. And again, the main concern here, it's hail. Again, you've got Alabama Highway 75 right here. Geraldine goes up through Fife and up to Rainsville. There's possibility of pretty decent sized hail, maybe up to 1 inch in diameter. And this cluster is moving kind of towards the west-southwest down and through here. And again, that's that hail core will be coming ultimately down toward Highway 431, maybe affecting places like Albertville or Boaz in Marshall County. So just be aware that we've got a strong storm here that's located just northwest of I-59 up toward Crossville. I would say that this will keep moving to the west-southwest, possibly into Marshall County. And the one thing, again, we should clearly point out is the fact that we have no tornado warnings. Zero. We don't expect any tornado warnings today. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings. This is not tornado season. Conditions don't favor tornadoes. Let's take Moulton full, Ryan, real quick. Again, this is that's pretty impressive. This is a huge downpour. And the other thing, too, in addition to lightning and strong winds and hail, these storms are capable of producing maybe some temporary flooding problems. So just be aware of that. These are very efficient rain producers. They drop a lot of rain in a very short amount of time. And again, for southern Lawrence and northern Winston counties, there could be some temporary minor flooding issues there as well. Notice Moulton's down to 88. They're north of the storm. The peak wind gust there 21. They're not really involved in this in the warning. The warning is for areas south of Moulton, but again, that's a pretty good look at that. While we've got this full screen, let's change the camera from Moulton to Double Springs. And this is going to be a look at the storm coming from the Winston County side of that. We've kind of got the storm that's in between Double Springs and Moulton. And maybe we can pan that camera a little bit to the left if we can. And we'll take a look at that situation and see if we can get a better look at the shelf cloud that's north of Double Springs. And again, we'll keep on moving to the left if we can. Keep on a-coming. Keep on a-coming. All right, we'll just hold it right there. And again, that's the underside of the shelf cloud that's coming into Double Springs. The camera's in downtown Double Springs, just basically across the street from the Winston County Courthouse. And that's what it looks like. And the core of this thing is passing north of Double Springs and south of Moulton. So let's go back to our triple box, and we're working 3 different severe thunderstorm warnings. The one you're seeing on camera here, it's this one. And again, that cluster is coming over toward Franklin County. That's the reason that Franklin County has been added to the warning here. And that from Russellville south down to Phil Campbell, this is US 43 right here. And again, we've got storms out ahead of this main batch. And sometimes when this happens, this cools things down, which kind of stabilizes this. So hopefully this mess will weaken over the next hour or so, and that's a definite possibility. But let's go back to Moulton, by the way, on the top camera box if we can. We're looking at Double Springs now. We're going to flip it back over to Moulton. The bottom box is just rotating through different camera views within the severe thunderstorm watch. Let's look at our storm in Walker County. Haven't had a chance to look at that one here lately. The wind velocities have not been that impressive in our Walker County storm. Walker County is down to the south, Sadie. That's the one that's over Jasper. This one right down here. And again, just not seeing any evidence of damaging wind in through here. It's just pouring rain, though. Let's pop back on the reflectivity, and you can see that it's a frog strangler. And the heaviest rain is really moving out of the severe thunderstorm warning polygon here. A little bit above Eldridge and Carbon Hill. This is HTX, right? I bet you that's HTX.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Let's look at BMX. We'll get a lower slice of that. Yeah, this is what it looks like in the lower slice, and that's a better perspective. And again, I just don't see any sign of large hail or damaging wind. So gut feeling is that the Weather Service will let this one expire. I just don't see any sign of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger, or wind 58 miles per hour or greater. That's the criteria, and that's the only criteria here. And again, that's moving kind of really up Interstate 22 toward the northwestern part of Walker County, but the wind velocity's not that bad. No sign of really large hail, so that's a good thing there. And let's look at the big picture real quick. Again, pick your spot, okay? Now, if you're in South Alabama, you're good. But in the northern half of the state, these storms are absolutely random. No human on the planet could tell you this morning at 6 o'clock the radar would look like that at 2:40 this afternoon. Maybe something like that, but not exactly like this. These are totally random. You might get 1 inch of rain. Your neighbor down the street gets nothing. That's the way it works with this random summer convection. And it's one of our biggest forecast challenges. We have never been good at this, never. And we're not good at it now. I can't tell you in the morning exactly when and where it's going to rain in the afternoon, which doesn't help many people. We just have to wind up saying isolated pop-up storms. But that's exactly what we have today. And again, we're underneath the core of the heat ridge. The center of the heat ridge is north of us, so storms are kind of rotating, moving off to the west, southwest, and northwest today. But we've got, again, a few polygons here. We have one that's in effect for Walker County. That thunderstorm seems to be in a weakening phase. We have a new warning just in from Birmingham. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for parts of Fayette, Marion, and Walker. So they're going to extend this thing out. So again, you're going to see a new polygon pop up on here in just a second. And basically this will extend this over into parts of Marion and northern Fayette counties here. And again, at the moment, we're not seeing any really strong evidence of large hail or damaging wind, but there's your new polygon right there. So again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for southeastern Marion County. This includes Guin, Winfield, Brilliant, parts of Interstate 22. Fayette County, it includes Hubbardsville. Does not include the city of Fayette. And again, it's for this cluster that's out here around Carbon Hill, Eldridge, to the west-northwest of Jasper. Remember, they're moving that way, moving backwards, moving to the west today. And again, the Weather Service believes that perhaps in this hot air mass over here, this could re-intensify. We've got the other warning in effect up here for the storm that's located between Double Springs and Moulton, this complex here. And if we can get that, let's take Moulton full, and let's look at these. Let's kind of adjust the camera a little bit to the right. We'll take a look at that rain shaft as it moves now to the southwest of downtown Moulton. The camera here is in downtown Moulton. And there's your rain shaft with that storm. And in Moulton itself, peak wind gust 21 miles per hour, temperature 85. Let's look at Double Springs. While we have this thing full, we'll change to Double Springs. That'll be looking up into the storm from the south. And again, this is from Winston County. And again, we've got the kind of CLCs, creepy looking clouds. That's a shelf cloud in advance of that. But again, the worst of this storm is kind of between those two camera sites, between Double Springs and Moulton. I want to look at Jasper real quick, mainly just to see the wind. I want to see the peak wind at Jasper. The storm came across our Jasper Skycam, and the peak wind gust is just 28 miles per hour. Hey, we can live with that. And look at the temperature, 72. That's outstanding. So again, the peak wind gust with this storm in Walker County at our Skycam site was only 28 miles per hour. And again, that's obviously way, way, way below severe limits. And trying to catch these things is like whack-a-mole. We'll go back to our triple box. The storms flare up and they weaken. They flare up and they weaken. And you're trying to issue warnings for these things, and it's just hard to do. You issue a warning, they weaken. They ramp up. You issue the warning, they weaken again. Let's look at the Birmingham Metro. Let's take a look at this storm that's out near the Shuttlesworth International Airport out here. This is one storm in the Birmingham Metro that is probably producing some issues for the airport operations here. They might have a ground stop. I don't know if they do or not, but again, that's a pretty decent storm near Shuttlesworth International Airport, which is right here. And again, this is Dead Man's Curve right here. That's Interstate 20 and Interstate 59 where the intersect. Winds just don't look that bad at that point. It's just a noisy, loud thunderstorm, which is good. All right, let's go back to the reflectivity, and we'll kind of expand this out again. And just the pop-up storms all over the place. That's the situation here. And let's see.
Lawrence.
Weather Service has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County. So this one is off the board. That thing is weakened. The one that's down here near Geraldine and Crossville, that is greatly weakened, so below severe limits. So let's go back to the storms over here. And again, these are the current warnings that we have in effect. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for about the western two-thirds of Walker County, northern Fayette, extreme southern Marion, for the western half of Winston, southwestern Lawrence, and parts of southeastern Franklin counties. Those are our current active polygons. No other polygons for the entire state. And again, these are all severe thunderstorm warning polygons. All right, no tornadoes involved today. We don't expect any tornado problems. We should mention that there is a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight for the northern half of the state. We stress it will not rain everywhere in this watch. Most of you will not see a drop. Some of you will get a big storm with strong winds. Some of you may be a sprinkle. It's just that kind of day with these random scattered showers and storms about. There's the watch. The watch extends as far south as Chambers, Tallapoosa, Elmore, Autauga, Dallas, Marengo, and Sumter counties, and counties to the north in pink. And again, that's till 8 o'clock tonight. So we'll pop the watch back off, and we've got the storms. Basically, all of them are north of U.S. Highway 80. And they're moving to the west, and the heavier storms are north and west of Birmingham, through parts of Walker, Winston, Lawrence, Franklin counties, moving that way. And again, we did earlier today have some trees down around Birmingport. We saw a video of a tree down. Where was that, Emily? Around Jasper, where that happened? Okay. Yeah, go. WEX 05. All right. We'll tell you, and again, we thank you for your images. And again, like we say, we can't show them all, but we see them all in real time, which is extremely helpful.
Okay. So this is another tree down in Jasper. This truck was not so lucky. If you can see through the tree branches there, it looks like it did end up falling on this truck here. There's also a picture from Moulton. This is just another view of that rain shaft we were looking at on the Skycam. So it's cool to see another view of that. Unfortunately, the church is in the way for the most part. But you can kind of see that there. And then these are some mammatus clouds from Coleman from the severe thunderstorm that came through earlier. So we're seeing some pictures from that. And then this is in Addison, Alabama. So we're seeing some cloud to ground lightning there. Really cool picture there. But, it does remind us of the lightning threat we have today.
Home of the Addison Bulldogs. Emily, you ever been to Addison?
I have never been to Addison.
We're going to take a bus tour of everybody in the studio and let them tour of the state here. We're going to stop at some barbecue joints and Dollar Generals.
I'm ready.
All right, so 12 minutes now before 3 o'clock. If you're just joining us, we have no tornado warnings. We're here live working a few severe thunderstorm warnings for storms that are pretty strong. The main issues, number one, lightning. Summer storms can pack a huge amount of cloud-to-ground lightning. Number two, the possibility of strong winds in spots. So far, the winds have not been that impressive over the last 30 minutes, but they could ramp up again in this hot, unstable air mass. Number three, the chance of a little flooding in spots. These storms are producing a lot of rain in a short amount of time, so there could be some flooding issues here. And again, that's let's look at Moulton full screen, Ryan. That's pretty impressive. That's a look at that huge downpour that is now south of Moulton in Lawrence County. And that is just a whopper. I mean, that is a frog strangler. Huge summer downpour, summer soaker, whatever you want to call it. And again, from time to time, within the life cycle of these storms, within that, you can have a wet microburst, a little local area of damaging winds that can knock down trees and cause some problems. And again, that is the core of this thing has been staying south of Moulton. Moulton, of course, is the county seat of Lawrence County, and that's from downtown Moulton. And that storm cluster is centered between Moulton, wow, lightning impressive there, between Moulton and Double Springs. And while we got the full screen up, let's go to Double Springs. We'll take a look at it from the other side. This will be coming from the Winston County side. Just get another look from the other direction. We'll probably pan that around a little bit. Looks like the rain is pretty close to Winston County. On the positive side, we just don't have that many power outages in the state. Looking at the numbers, Walker County has 1,200 outages. Winston County has 800. And really, other than that, the numbers are pretty much what you'd have on a sunny day. The outage count is quite low. Statewide, the number of power outages, we have 2,875. So again, at this point, we've got the larger number of power outages in Walker County at 1263. So it looks like the rain is really close to Double Springs. We can't see much of the storm structure. You can see the famous clock there in the Winston County Courthouse, the Free State of Winston. And while we've got this camera network up, if we can, let's go to the camera at Hatton, which is in Lawrence County. Now, Hatton is northwest of Moulton. I don't know if we can see much from that one, but still, there we go. Same thing. It's pretty much the same view as we see from Moulton. That's looking back into the storms. We've got temperature 92 with a really high dew point of 77. These storms are forming in a very hot, unstable air mass, and the air aloft a little colder. A little pocket of cold air aloft is swinging through the base of the upper high, producing these scattered pockets of storms today that are quite strong. So again, that's a pretty good view from that camera. And real quickly, if we can peek at our camera at Hamilton, this is a camera that's over in Marion County, and we're just going to take a few sky views. Nothing beats looking out the window. That's what people want to do when there's active weather, and you don't have to do that. We can do that for you. The Hamilton camera is, again, going to be a little to the west of the ongoing activity, but it's moving in that direction. Remember, storms today are moving from east to west. And that camera will be in a position where we can probably see it soon. If we can't get it, that's okay. So let's go back to our triple box. It is 2:52, and we're working thunderstorms in progress now. And again, in Marion County, the warning is in effect, not for Hamilton. I know there's a pretty good storm that's approaching Hamilton from the east. I know that. But remember, and it's so confusing here because you've got warnings for some of these. You don't have warnings for others. And they all look the same. It's a challenge, I'll say that. Any of these storms can produce some small hail and strong winds, but the heavier storms clearly are in parts of southwestern Lawrence, southern Franklin, parts of Winston County, northern Walker, north of Interstate 22, and through a pretty good chunk of Marion County. Again, that's the Columbus Air Force Base radar giving us a good look at those storms there. And let's take Hamilton full screen, Ryan, real quick. This is the view coming from our Hamilton Skycam where they've got 84 in Marion County. And we love this region Skycam network. It's a really amazing part of this operation here. You can't beat having cameras everywhere. We're very thankful for that. Real quick, let's go to the Birmingham camera. While we got this full screen, I want to look at that storm out near the airport from the top of Regions Center in downtown Birmingham. We got a new warning for hail in Perry. We'll check that out in just a second. That's looking west. If we can swing that camera back around to the east real quick. Again, we want to look at the storm that's out near the airport. And again, the Weather Service in Birmingham posting a new warning. Yeah, there we go. That's that big downpour you see there. We'll tilt it up a little bit. And that is basically right on top of the field out at Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. Not really severe, but it certainly could be a problem. Got a new warning for Shelby as well, so let's go back to the triple box. Let's start with our Shelby warning. Let's go to Shelby County. This is for a storm near Columbiana. And really, any of these storms, I know. Let's go to Columbiana. Sadie, that's in Shelby County, which is located south of Birmingham right here. And it's for this storm here, and there's our polygon. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this storm that is just to the west of Columbiana. Remember, today they're moving that way. And let me expand this out so you can see Alabaster and the I-65 corridor. This does include Pelham, Alabaster, Maline, the northern part of Calera, and the Shelby County Airport. The radar is right off the interstate. Many of you have seen that big radome across the street from the Shelby County Airport. And the storm you see here that is located near Columbiana is moving to the west. And we do have a camera in Alabaster. If we can pull that one up in the top box, the Alabaster camera should give us a pretty good view back into this. The Alabaster camera is up on a pretty good ridge top, really not too far from this cluster. But all of these storms, all of them, are capable of producing strong straight line winds and some hail today. And some get a warning, some don't. And it's a real challenge trying to decide which ones do you issue the warning for, which ones do you not. You can't issue a warning for every little shower that pops up. Yeah, let's take Alabaster full screen real quick, Ryan. This is a look into that storm that is moving in. In fact, it's pouring rain now. This camera is a little to the east of Alabaster, up on a ridgetop. And you can see that they are now in the rain in this storm. And I don't believe the weather data is current. And so that is not the current data. We don't have the wind gust data available there. But still, obviously the camera feed is live. So let's go back to the triple box. Now let's look at our warning for Perry and hail. This is a severe thunderstorm cluster that's approaching Alabama Highway 5 from Heiberger down to Marion. That'll be coming into downtown Marion. This is in Perry County. Another big storm that's centered off to the northwest of Marion. That'll be moving over into Hale County. And you can see the warning in Hale. Let's expand this out a little bit so we can see Greensboro here. Greensboro is on the edge of the polygon here. This includes the far eastern part of Hale County. So we have a warning in effect now for the cluster that is currently located in northern Perry that will be moving into extreme western Hale County. And it's the same thing for all of these storms today. The main concern coming from strong straight line winds, lightning, and temporary flooding. All right. And again, you can see the Centerville camera in Bibb County kind of looking down into this. That camera is located right here, looking to the south into that. And you can see the shelf cloud and lightning with that. Pouring rain in Double Springs, you saw that on the camera there. And again, we're looping the cameras in the severe thunderstorm watch in the lower box. Up in the top box, that's kind of the one we're focusing on. So here's the big picture. So again, a lot of things are going on here. And again, number one, there are no tornado warnings. There will be no tornado warnings today. This is not a tornado day. This is summer. These are random pop-up afternoon storms. Sometimes you can have storms that get a little out of hand with the chance of strong winds and some hail. And with a little pocket of colder air aloft coming in here today, these storms have been pretty active over the northern half of the state. South Alabama, not so much. South Alabama, you're in good shape. The air aloft is warmer. You're capped off down here. The main problems in the northern part of the state, the bulk of the storms you see here in North Alabama, the heavier ones, are now close to and west of I-65. And remember, they're moving that way, wrong way, backwards. This is not unusual. If you've been here a long time, on many, many summer days, they move backwards. There's an upper high to the north of the state. They're simply following that circulation, and that's pushing them that way. And again, this is July. This is the middle of summertime. This stuff happens from time to time. And again, you can see the newer warnings for parts of Shelby County here for the storm that's located near Columbiana. In fact, we'll take a look at this one. That storm is moving away from Columbiana in the direction of Alabaster and Calera and the Shelby County Airport right here. So with that storm, there could be some fairly strong winds, although we're really not seeing it at this point. The wind velocities, quite frankly, have not been that impressive on the radar. But the one thing I'm looking for, it's damage reports, and I just really don't see any damage reports at this time in the last 15 minutes or so.
I didn't see any damage reports, but I do know that they had talked about seeing like the potential on the radar for a downburst in Columbiana about probably 20 minutes ago now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It pops up and it goes. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. It is whack-a-mole. And that makes it so tough with a wet microburst. It's very brief. This is not like the tornadoes we see in spring where they might be down for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. These wet microbursts just happen and they're gone. And trying to catch them and warn about them, it is very, very challenging. And again, we are so thankful for our sky watchers, I should mention. We have a team of thousands of weather dweebs across the state that just love weather, and they help us during times of severe weather, and they report, and many of them have weather instruments, and it's very helpful, and we thank them for their reports today as well. So again, let's leave it on this big picture here for just a second. If you're in East Alabama, scattered showers. That's about it. The big storms, the really bigger ones, are up here north and west of Birmingham, parts of Winston, Lawrence, Franklin, Marion, Fayette counties, western Tuscaloosa County. These newer storms down to the south have increased in intensity, and that's prompted these newer severe thunderstorm warnings, one for Shelby County, one for parts of Perry and Hale counties. But any of these storms are capable of producing very heavy amounts of rain and tremendous amounts of lightning. Let's take Moulton full, Ryan, real quick. This is gorgeous. I mean, goodness gracious, these cameras are just amazing. We've been watching this storm that is passing south, now southwest of Moulton for the past 30 minutes, and the camera views are just stunning here. We watched it from the Moulton side, from the Double Springs side, and that's what people are dealing with. Of course, the good thing, temperatures are in the 70s now near these storms. Moulton, even though it's not raining, they're at 79. The core of that rain is down to the south. The peak wind gust in Moulton, 25, but again, they're not in the core of this storm. And that's part of the storm cluster that is going to be moving over into Franklin County. In fact, we might want to pull up Russellville. Whoa, look at that lightning strike. Let's pull up Russellville and Franklin County if we can, and maybe get that one kind of pointed in this direction of the cluster that's coming into that part of the county around Phil Campbell. And again, it's 92 at the camera site here. And of course, peak wind gust there, 10. The storms have not reached that Skycam site yet. This is one of our Franklin County Skycams at Russellville. And again, kind of looking back into the core of the storms, they're just not quite visible there yet, but they'll be there soon. So back to the radar, and again, we'll hold it here for just a little bit. I know that we've been live for a while, and normally when we're live for a long time like this, it involves tornadoes, and we don't have tornadoes today. We have severe thunderstorms today. But this is the Alabama Weather Network, and you know what? We don't have to interrupt any programming except our own weather programming, which means we can go live as long as we want for anything, which is awfully convenient. But I'll tell you, the rain is just tremendous here in Winston County. It is just absolutely pouring. I would imagine our Double Springs camera shows the visibility at basically nothing. These are rain rates, and again, that's 5 inches an hour. Woo, 7 inches per hour. That is, man, that's tough.
A lot of rain at once.
That's, 7.3 inches per hour. That's like a cow peeing on a flat rock. Sadie, you ever seen that before?
I might have, honestly.
Let me tell you what, if you're a farmer, you know what I mean. That is tremendous amounts of rain, and that could easily pull up some flooding issues. Again, you can see the Double Springs camera there in the top box. That's our Skycam in downtown Double Springs. You can see the Winston County Courthouse there in the water tower in downtown Double Springs. But again, these rates are just tremendous, and basically all of this is in the Bankhead National Forest between Double Springs and Moulton, which is a beautiful part of the state. Those heavier rain rates moving into Bear Creek. Bear Creek's in Marion County. Phil Campbell is in Franklin County. Of course, everybody knows Phil Campbell from the horrific EF5 tornado there, April 27, 2011. They know weather very well there. And again, those heavier rates are moving in. There could be some small hail in here, but again, we just don't see any evidence of that really large hail, 1 inch in diameter. And we've seen a lot of images that you've sent us, and so far the hail has been quite small. Most all of the hailstones I've seen were about the size of dimes. I've not seen any 1 inch hail so far. But again, these could ramp back up as it's moving into a fairly hot air mass. But the one thing about it, with this stuff developing out ahead of it, that's going to cool this air down to the 70s. And so often the trailing storms back here weaken. These become the dominant storms out ahead of that. And again, flooding is a definite concern. We could clearly see some temporary flooding issues here. And yes, we do have a camera in Phil Campbell. Thank you, Moose, for pulling that one up. Phil Campbell, again, is one of the spots we wanted to have a camera. We wanted a sky cam at Phil Campbell, and by golly, we've got one. If anybody deserves one in the state, it's them. And you can see it's just pouring rain at this point. Phil Campbell is in the southern part of Franklin County. It's near Bear Creek and near Hackleburg. Those towns are in Marion County, but it's just pouring. And really and truly, this thing is kind of morphing more from a wind and hail perspective into a heavy rain flooding kind of thing. I think that might be the main hazard we're seeing here with those tremendous rain rates. And again, in some cases, 5-7 inches per hour. That's about as heavy as it gets. I mean, this is pure downpour stuff here. I mean, that's tremendous. And again, that's some of the heavier rain coming into Phil Campbell up in Franklin County. Again, that's one of our Franklin County sky cams, as you can see there. And again, the bottom box, we're rotating through the different cameras. So it's 3:04. We are live on the Alabama Weather Network this afternoon. We're covering thunderstorms in progress that are packing a punch over the northern half of the state. If you're in South Alabama, we just don't see any issues there. You're kind of capped off. The air loft is warmer. Yesterday, the storms were in the southern part. This evening, they're in the northern part of the state. Again, we've got the Weather Service in Birmingham. Let's put the reflectivity back on real quick, Sadie. The Weather Service in Birmingham, they're going to, looks like, issue a new warning just to kind of blanket this whole area. A new warning is going to be coming out that will include parts of Lamar and Marion counties. What they're telling us, they're going to do one large severe thunderstorm warning for northern Lamar, northern Fayette, Winston, Marion, and northern Walker. It will overlap all the current warnings. And again, it has been a spaghetti mess of polygons today. And so I think what Birmingham's going to do is just issue one warning to kind of blanket this whole zone here for these clusters. And we've got warnings up here for southwestern Lawrence and southeastern Franklin counties. And again, you can see that tremendous rain falling in Phil Campbell, one of our 2 Franklin County sky cams. Let's look at Russellville real quick. I mean, sometimes from a distance they look a little better than when you're actually looking right into these things. Russellville's camera is looking back into this, which might show a good shelf cloud. Sometimes we get a pretty decent view of that. Let's take Russellville full screen, Ryan. And again, this is, we're still 91 degrees. And Russellville's kind of sitting on the northern end of this severe thunderstorm warning polygon. And the heavier part of this will probably stay just south of this camera site, like it stayed a little south of Moulton. Let's look at Hatton real quick, if we can, Moose. This is the Skycam at Hatton in Lawrence County. And again, we're looking back into this, and it looks like the rain is starting to fall there. So we've got rain falling at Hatton. Let's go back to Moulton while we got the camera full screen. The Moulton Skycam it has really been incredible to watch that one. Still is. That's the rain shaft that's now southwest of Moulton. And the lightning has been very impressive, and that's the one thing that we've got to remember is that we've got gobs of lightning. Got a new warning coming up for western Tuscaloosa and Pickens counties. We'll go back to the triple box, Ryan. This is for this cluster. And again, it looks like what the Weather Service is doing, they're just kind of going to issue warnings for all these things today. And again, you could make an argument for or against that. But again, technically, for a storm to be severe, you got to have 58 mile per hour winds or 1 inch hail. And all of these probably can have that from time to time, but it's not going to be consistent. So let's look at the cluster that is in western Tuscaloosa and Pickens. The Weather Service drawing up a warning for this. With the storms along US 82, Coker, Buell, Elrod, back over toward Gordo. And again, remember, the one thing you have to get into your mind today is that these storms are not moving to the east, they're moving to the west. And again, you can see kind of that west-northwest motion. This is the new warning. It does not include technically the city of Tuscaloosa. It includes Northport, Coker, Elrod, Buell, Ecola, Gordo. Pretty small polygon here. It's for that core that's going up near Coker and Buell, out there around Freedom Farm. And there could be some hail and strong winds with that. So just be aware of that storm. Again, let's look at the camera full screen, Ryan, for the University of Alabama camera. Let's go west. That's looking north. Yeah, there we go. That's a look at the storm cluster that is west of Tuscaloosa. That's the reason we have a warning in effect now for western Tuscaloosa and extreme eastern Pickens counties. That is a good look at that huge downpour that is out toward Buell, Elrod, Coker. And that's moving away from the city of Tuscaloosa. Normally when you see that, it's coming into town, but today it's moving away from town because of the upper air winds. So again, looks like warnings will stay in effect for Shelby. Let's go back to the radar. We just got a lot of storms to deal with today, but let's hold it right here just to show the big picture. We've got one big severe thunderstorm warning over Winston, Walker, Fayette, Marion, northern Lamar. Warnings for southern Franklin, southwestern Lawrence. Warnings for parts of Shelby County for the storm approaching Calera, Alabaster. Warnings for western Tuscaloosa, eastern Pickens County for the storm there. Warnings in effect for Perry County and extreme eastern Hale County for the storms there. Really, east of I-65, things are pretty quiet now. The activity is light and scattered. There's just not much happening here. The main concern, it would seem like, for the rest of the afternoon is going to be from Interstate 65 on to the west for these storms that are gradually moving to the west. And again, the three concerns, lightning, all summer storms have that. All summer storms on a hot day will have tremendous amounts of cloud-to-ground lightning. The chance of a wet microburst, small localized areas of damaging straight-line wind, and flooding. Rain rates are tremendous with these storms today. So let's look at this new polygon here. And again, it's a mess with these polygons. You talk about a mess, that's a mess. There's a new warning here that's going to replace all these other ones that hopefully will make this a little clearer here. But the Weather Service is basically blanketing this entire mess right here. All of these storms are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. That would include parts of northern Fayette, northern Lamar, basically all of Marion, the western half of Winston, southwestern Lawrence, southern Franklin. And all of these storms are capable of producing some flooding, tremendous amounts of lightning, and very strong straight line winds. Drew, good to see you. Well, I just noticed Drew's back in the studio here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's been one of these kind of days. It's an interesting day. All days are interesting here.
Yeah,
But,
came back through, I was listening on the way in and came through that cell that was over by the airport, and it was definitely doesn't look like it was anything like what you're seeing with the warnings on it. It was heavy rain, but that was about it.
yeah, that's the deal. I mean, that's a good observation. What you see in the Birmingham Metro, that's just rain. The storms that you see here in northwest Alabama, this is the greatest concern. I think that's going to be the main concern here for the next couple of hours as these storms continue moving to the west-northwest. Let's peek at our Hamilton camera. We'll put that in the top box and see what that thing looks like. We got cameras, of course, all across the state. The Region Skycam network is amazing. And remember, you can see these live on your phone anytime you want or your tablet. Get the Alabama Weather Network app. So let's take Hamilton full screen. Ryan, thank you. It's down to 80 degrees with a dew point of 73. So far, the peak wind gust at Hamilton 13. And we can manage that. And again, the sustained winds have just not been that bad with these storms so far today. And Drew, we're getting flashes of our logo from time to time on the cameras. I don't know if that's a glitch or what's going on over there. You might check that. We'll see if we can get that straightened out. But again, this is coming from Hamilton, where we've got 80 degrees. We've seen some pretty good cloud-to-ground lightning. But again, the key metric is a wind of 13. And I think the main issues here is the lightning and the flooding potential. It seems like all the hail reports have been relatively small, dime size or smaller. The wind gusts have not been that extreme. I know in spots we've had local spots of wet microburst, of very strong winds, but on a general basis, the winds have not been that bad. The main issue, it's the lightning and the rain. So let's go back to our triple box here at 313. We're watching severe storms across northwest Alabama. And we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect basically for this entire part of the state here. The Weather Service, they've just decided to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for everything you see here. The storms that cover southwestern Lawrence, southeastern Franklin, the western half of Winston, much of Marion County, northern Fayette, northern Lamar counties. For Walker County, the heavier storms have moved out of the county. I can pretty much say you're okay here. Now, let's look at the ones down to the south. This is our warning for Tuscaloosa County, and this is western Tuscaloosa County. So let's take a look at the storm you see right here. This is a storm cluster that is mainly south of US 82, and this is affecting places like Buell and Elrod over into Pickens County around Gordo. The heavier core of this is just south of US 82. And again, same thing, like all these other storms. There could be some small hail. Got a good look at that coming from the campus of the University of Alabama. You can see that downpour from our Skycam at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's looking back into this. And again, that's moving over into Pickens County. And there could be a spot of stronger winds and maybe a spot of larger hail, but it seems like the wind velocities are less than impressive here. At the radar beam height, all under 20 miles per hour. Just not that much wind. It's basically a lot of rain and a lot of lightning. Let's go down to the south. We'll check our storms down in parts of Hale and Perry counties. We've got a pretty good core coming up in downtown Marion, right here. Breakthrough Charter School, one of my favorite schools, is right here. Of course, you got MMI, wonderful ACCS school, Marion Military Institute. Another one of my favorite schools there in downtown Marion in Perry County. Heavy rain falling north of Marion, Heiberger along Highway 5 back over into parts of Hale County, north of Highway 14. And it's like all of these things are doing the same thing. They're just doing the same thing. Lightning, heavy rain, winds just not that impressive with these storms. All the wind velocities are well under 20 miles per hour down here. So just a whole bunch of rain, a lot of lightning, and maybe some small hail. Let's look at the Shelby County storm, which is right here, and it's getting into the Weather Service radar site at Shelby County Airport. Let's go to Maxwell Air Force Base, MXX, and take a look at it from that perspective. And again, the core of this thing is coming up on US 31 I-65. Again, this is the US 31 right here, coming up through Alabaster, back up to Pelham. That's I-65. And again, you got the Saginaw here, Calera, the Shelby County Airport down here. Again, Shelby County Airport is right here. EET is the Weather Service in Birmingham, which is at the Shelby County Airport. And the same thing. The wind's not that bad within this. Quite frankly, even within this, we're not seeing that much in the way of thunder and lightning. I've noticed on the lightning counter, no lightning strikes over here. So it looks like the storm that came out of Columbiana has weakened a good bit coming into Alabaster. No sign of hail, no sign of any damaging wind at this point. So again, I would suggest that storm is basically subsevere. So let's go back. Let's go to the Columbus Air Force Base radar and take a look at the storms coming through Winston and Marion counties. And let's go back to our wind velocity display here on GWX. And these are the better wind velocities we've seen right here. The winds that are coming through extreme eastern Marion County, and this is south of Bear Creek, north of Brilliant. Still, though, again, there's a 51 mile per hour gust. I don't think we're having winds of that velocity down at the surface. This is radar beam height about 2,000 feet off the ground. But again, some stronger velocities are along Highway 241 here, and those will likely be coming out maybe passing just south of Hackleburg. So again, the better wind velocities we've seen are these right here moving in this direction. These may be affecting Hamilton, or this is US 43, of course, that's the major north-south route through the western part of Alabama. So in terms of wind, at the moment, that's the spot here where the winds are greatest. And again, maybe some small hail working in through here. So 317 will stay with us for a while. This is James Spann with Sadie, Drew, whole team here in the weather office at the Alabama Weather Network in Studio A. We have no tornado warnings. We do not expect any tornado warnings today. This is not tornado season. Typically, for us to have a tornado in the summer, you need a tropical system, and the tropics are dead quiet, which is good. No issues for the 4th of July. But again, all these storms are moving this way around the base of an upper high north of the state, following that clockwise circulation. and that's the reason they're moving backwards today. Storms over East Alabama are not considered to be severe. And again, quite frankly, really not all of these storms in West Alabama are severe, but they just flare up and they weaken, flare up and they weaken. And it's, again, it's the old whack-a-mole thing where you're trying to catch a wet microburst, and that is so hard to do. But again, you can see the history of these warnings. Any damage reports, Sadie, from you? What you got over there?
I still haven't seen
Nothing.
anything coming in. I mean, I've been monitoring Huntsville, Birmingham, Jackson. I mean, so far, I don't see any. At least on the National Weather Service or the other form of Slack. We might have some social media ones.
I'm getting some pictures ready for.
Okay. We'll take a look at some of your images here in just a minute, but looking at all of the reports I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing any damage reports in the last 30 minutes. So again, these storms, yes, tremendous amounts of lightning, weird-looking clouds, gusty winds, maybe some flooding, gobs of lightning, but again, in terms of large hail and wind damage, we just haven't really seen that in the last 30 minutes or so. And we hope that continues, but it certainly looks like the heavier reflectivity cores over here on the western side of the state. So let's go back and look at our storm here. This is where the highest wind velocities are here. The storm complex that is kind of sitting on the Winston-Marion County line. And you can see that the higher wind velocities in the radar beam right here. And this could be enough maybe to knock down some trees and power lines. Again, you can see these are inbound velocities at, there's a 48 here. And again, that's at radar beam height. Still not at severe criteria, but still that could be enough to maybe knock down some trees and power lines. So just be aware of that if you're in northern Marion County, especially from Hamilton back up to Hackleburg along US 43. That the stronger wind velocities are here, moving in that direction. Remember, they're moving westward today. And again, within the county, we're getting just tremendous amounts of rain pouring down here at Guin and Winfield. The wind velocity is not that bad down here. It's mainly rain, and the lightning output's tremendous as well. And again, these are rain rates, and you can see some pretty big numbers. That's 6 inches an hour. There's 7 inches per hour, just north of Brilliant. I mean, imagine getting 7 inches of rain in 1 hour. All right, let's go to Emily for some of your images.
Yep, so luckily most of the pictures I have to show are more clouds and just rain and wind, nothing too much in regards to damages, but this picture is from Double Springs as we saw that storm move through, and we were watching that on our sky cams. It's cool to see just a ground picture of those clouds. This is some lightning from the storm in Moulton. So again, like you've been saying, we're seeing globs of lightning, and people are really getting awesome photos of the lightning coming down today. This is from Phil Campbell, so you can really see those winds are really blowing that rain around. That rain is not going vertically, it's going horizontally, and so are those trees that are blowing horizontally as well. We also have this picture from Phil Campbell. So again, mostly just cloud pictures. This is a really scary cloud picture from Haleyville from a little bit ago. Very creepy there. And then this is a crepe myrtle in Parish from earlier. It looks like the wind really got to it, just snapped some branches there and really was not very kind to it, unfortunately. So, and we also now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Lauderdale, Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan counties.
All right, again, this is issued by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. So we'll go back to the radar, and you'll see a new box popping up here. And again, it's this is tough. If you're working a warning desk at the Weather Service, do you warn for every one of these things or not? Well, they're going to warn for this one, for the storm that is sitting on the Tennessee River. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a small part of Morgan County, a small part of Limestone County, a small part of Lawrence County. Again, this is for the storm segment that is sitting right on top of the river about 5 miles northwest of downtown Decatur. And you can see the northern edge of the polygon. That's US 72 right here. In fact, I was on that road yesterday. I was speaking at Rogersville, had a huge crowd. First Baptist Church in the Gym, sponsored by the Rogersville Public Library. Thanks to everybody for coming out to see us. But I think that's the reason for the warning. It's these high wind velocities you see right here. And again, that's some of the better wind velocities we've seen. And that could be evidence of a wet microburst right in through here. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning for the storm that's sitting on the river northwest of Decatur. And that thing will be basically straddling the river here, kind of between Lawrence and Limestone and Lauderdale counties. Lauderdale County is here. That's Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan. So this storm you see right here, capable of producing strong winds. And that's the reason for that warning. So that's our newest severe thunderstorm warning, and this is in effect for the Tennessee Valley. And for that little spot you see right there, and sometimes you see that and it goes away in the next volume scan. I mean, they can flare, the wet microburst happens, and it's over. They don't last long. But it certainly could be in progress right now in that segment of the storm you see right here. Okay, so Wheeler Lake, I would not want to be on a boat. Around the Birmingham Metro, good downpours, nothing severe, no large hail, no damaging wind. Let's go to BMX. We'll take a look at the radar from Birmingham for a better look at these storms. And again, we've got the decent downpour up around McClellan, Sacs, and Calhoun County. Good downpour near the Logan Martin Dam on the Coosa River. Showers north of Birmingham, nothing severe. Let's look at our Shelby County storm. This prompted a warning earlier. I don't think it's severe at this point. It's coming right on top of the radome here, but that seems to have weakened a good bit. That warning still in effect there. Let's go to Tuscaloosa County. Look at the storm that is in western Tuscaloosa County. And again, you can see the heavier rain falling along and south of US 82. Elrod, Buell, back into Gordo, Pickens County. And again, boy, let's take the University of Alabama camera full screen. Ryan, this is a good look at the downpour. This is in western Tuscaloosa County, as seen from the campus of the University of Alabama. And it's moving away from the camera site, moving away from the city and away from the campus. But again, that's a good look at the storm there. Let's go back to Russellville. Got a pretty good shelf cloud on the storm that is in Franklin County. And again, this is the leading edge of the storm complex that has been moving out of Lawrence County, moving into Franklin. And that's what it looks like on our camera at Russellville, where they're sitting at 89. That's a shelf cloud. A shelf cloud is on the leading edge of a big thunderstorm complex. Has nothing to do with a tornado, nothing. Nothing to do with a wall cloud. That is a shelf cloud on the leading edge of that strong thunderstorm complex. Let's go to Phil Campbell while we can, while we got Franklin County on our mind. Let's go to another Franklin County sky cam at Phil Campbell, where they've had tremendous amounts of rain. And the rain rates looks like they've decreased a little bit there, but still rain falling there. Let's go to Hamilton. Let's go down to Marion County. Take a look at the storm. We just like to look out the window. These are live perspectives coming from the Region Skycam network. This is the view coming from Hamilton in Marion County, where I would imagine they've got maybe a decent shelf cloud showing up there. And if we can't get it, that's okay. There we go. It's pouring. They've got rain. The Hamilton sky. This is near US 43 and Interstate 22, not too far off the interstate. And again, it's pouring. So they are now in the rain. They've got 76 degrees, a rain cool 76. The peak wind gust at 16. That's good. Really, at our Skycam sites, we have just not seen that much in the way of wind. The peak winds have been 20, 25, 16, as you see there. So trying to catch one of these little wet microbursts, it is so hard to do. Most of the storms today have been sub-severe, but a few have been severe, producing some scattered tree and power line damage. So let's go back to our triple box, 327. We're going to stay with us a little while longer. Just FYI, the number of power outages has increased now statewide to 5,600. So we have 5,600 without power. The county now with the greatest number of outages is Lawrence County. 1,700 there. We have 1,500 out in Walker County, 1,200 out in Winston County. So again, the three counties with the highest percentage of outages in the state are Lawrence, Walker, and Winston. All right, so again, this is Marion County, just good old-fashioned rain here, a lot of thunder and lightning. Let's check the wind velocities and see what it's look. We watched some higher wind velocities here. Let's go to GWX, the Columbus radar, which will give us a better look at this. And these are going to be inbound velocities. Let's see what they look like. Looks like they've come down. The wind velocities have clearly come down. They ramp up and they come back down. So again, you can see at the radar beam height, they're all generally under 45 miles per hour. Many of the pixels here representing 25, 30 miles per hour winds. So again, the winds have come considerably down in Marion County at this point. Let's go back to the one up on the Tennessee River. Just wanted to check that one. That we saw evidence of maybe a wet microburst occurring here along the river. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to HTX. That might give us a better view into this one. And the winds have come way down here. Whack-a-mole, Sadie. It's whack-a-mole. It's one of these days where these things ramp up, they come back down, they ramp up, they come back down. It's been quite the challenge. Again, looking at all of the different reports, we just don't see any major damage issues at this point, which is a good thing. Let's go down to our Perry County storm. Take a look at that one. That's sitting kind of on the Perry-Hale County line. The heavier storms are now west of Highway 5, moving away from Highway 5, moving away from Marion. Let's check the velocities here just for the fun of it, see if we see anything interesting, and not really. Wind velocities are light here. So again, this is just mainly a lot of rain, lightning, maybe some flooding issues. Really, I just don't see any evidence of this thing being severe. Let's go to our Tuscaloosa County storm real quick. This is the one kind of straddling the Tuscaloosa-Pickens County line, west of the city of Tuscaloosa. Let's check the wind velocities here, and again, just no evidence of any high winds in this storm. So things are pretty calm here, mainly just a lot of rain and some lightning. Well, that's a good look at Decatur. Let's take up in the top box Decatur, full screen if we can. This is going to be a view into that storm on the river that is northwest of Decatur. Thanks, Ryan. That's looking into that. But again, the wind velocities have come way down. We had a couple of volume scans with evidence of maybe a wet microburst and strong winds, but it's just ramped right back down. So again, we did we've got lots of rain there on the radar, or on the camera view, I should say, from Decatur. 87, peak wind gust at 20 in downtown Decatur. And again, that storm is moving away from the city of Decatur. All right, while the camera is up, let's see. Let's look at our, let's see here. Let's go to Hamilton real quick. Hamilton up on the top box. It should be just pouring rain here. I want to see the peak wind gust. Peak wind gust at Hamilton so far is 16. That's just not that bad. So again, we've got tremendous amounts of rain. I really think for most of these storms today, the big issue is flooding and lightning. Minor flooding, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and from time to time, yes, there could be a little wet microburst, an area of very strong straight-line winds for a very brief time, but trying to catch those things, it is just almost impossible to do. So back to our triple box. It is now 3:31, and let's take a look at our wind velocities here real quick. And again, we're kind of watching. You see maybe some elevated velocities here coming up into Hamilton. There's 45 inbound, 29. And again, these are not at severe criteria, but if you're in Hamilton, the winds might be increasing here. There's a 54 mile per hour pixel there. So again, those elevated winds are coming into Hamilton. So again, we're going to leave that Hamilton camera up in the top box. This seems to be where the higher wind velocities are concentrated right now. In this thunderstorm that is coming up into Hamilton. It's pouring rain in Hamilton, and that might be enough. It might be enough to bring down some trees and power lines as that comes up into the city of Hamilton. Again, these are rain rates. Again, you can see some spots getting 7 inches per hour. That's pretty tremendous. That's about as heavy as it gets. And again, that's moving this way, moving to the west today. And again, watching more reports from folks, and it just looks like I'm seeing a lot of rain and a lot of lightning, and I'm not seeing much in the way of wind or storm damage from our sky watchers and from the Weather Service chat sessions here, which is a good thing. It's nice when it's kind of calm. That's a very good thing. And we should mention, I know we have storms on the eastern side of the state. Let's go to BMX for the middle of the state here. Storm C coming through Calhoun County, producing heavy rain in spots north of Anniston. It's pouring around Sacs. Weaver, places like that. But again, this is not severe. You need damaging wind or large hail to be severe. Got some good downpours around the southern part of Logan Martin Lake. Good downpours north of downtown Birmingham. These are just tropical rain showers with some thunder and lightning. The Shelby County storm that originally blew up near Columbiana, it's coming out of the radar hole here, coming down toward Maylene. And again, I just don't think we have anything at severe criteria here with that. We'll keep an eye on that. But the core of that thing is passing south of Alabaster. Again, Alabaster, Highway 119 down to Montevallo. Heavy rain, just not seeing that much wind. Again, let's check our Hale County storm that's coming out of Perry County. Check the wind velocities here, and again, just don't think we have that much to worry about. Winds are light in this storm. So the storms have come way down in intensity down here, and it's just been hard for us to identify any spot with some real problems in terms of wind. And again, I want to stress, even though we're not showing spontaneous wind damage here on the radar from time to time, there could be a little wet microburst where things get heavy. But the heaviest wind of all is this up here at Hamilton. Let's go back to our storm coming into Hamilton. And now the gust is up to 34, okay? We're watching the, in fact, take it full screen real quick, Ryan. This is the Hamilton camera, and it's pouring. That's that intense rain rates we've seen. And the peak wind gust is at 34 miles per hour at Hamilton. And again, that's not close to severe criteria. Severe criteria is 58, but that's a sign of this thing packing a punch. And those higher wind velocities are coming right into Hamilton. So we'll get a really good idea in the next few minutes if those wind gusts want to go higher. That might be the peak wind gust of the storm, but it could go conceivably higher. But it's a very windy, very wet storm loaded with lightning. And again, obviously, we want folks just kind of sheltered from that for obvious reasons. We'll go back to our triple box. We're live at 3:35. We're watching a number of strong storms across the northern half of the state. They're moving to the west today, backwards if you will, which is not odd for summer. At the moment, the higher wind velocities are coming into Hamilton here with this cluster that is basically covering a pretty good chunk of central and eastern Marion County. And again, the storms are moving out of Winston. For Winston County, the risk of any wind damage is ended here. Walker County, it's over for you. Fayette County, the core wind velocities are north of Fayette County, really in Marion. It's kind of the same thing for Lamar. So right in through here, Hamilton back up to Hackleburg, Bear Creek. This whole zone in through here, it's just pouring. I mean, this is tremendous amounts of rain. And let's see, Drew, can we get a rain update from that Skycam site by any chance? Just curious to see.
For the Hamilton?
Yeah, for Hamilton. I'm very curious. We don't have it on the display, but we can see it in real time here in the weather office.
It's like a little bit over a quarter of an inch, 0.29.
All right. Let's see how fast it goes up.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be curious to see how quickly it ramps up. And again, you can see the rain rates are just extreme. That's 7.5 inches per hour. And those heavier rain rates are coming right into Hamilton at that Skycam site. And again, this could easily produce some flooding problems. And I really think the main issue with all of these storms today, it's the chance of some temporary flooding and the lightning. And that the rain rates are tremendous and the lightning is just pretty extreme here. So again, just a big mass of tropical rain sitting on top of Marion County with the possibility of some flooding problems. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. The risk of high wind is ended for Winston. Yeah, Drew.
Yeah, I was going to mention as far as the Hamilton camera, again, looking at the rainfall, but it does look like the gust, I think, went up to 41.
Yeah, let's take it full screen, Ryan, the Hamilton.
And I know the Weather Service in the chat had mentioned velocity around Hamilton is going up, and so it might be a little bit of a burst starting to happen in that area.
Yeah, this is clearly the strongest storm on radar statewide. This is the one to watch. We have sustained winds at 29, gusting to 42 at our Skycam site at Hamilton.
We may have just lost the camera, honestly.
I'm about to say, I think we have lost the video here. Yeah. If you notice, the trees have stopped moving, and so I do believe the camera just went down at Hamilton, which is never a good sign. Of course, that typically involves some type of internet connectivity issue, not necessarily that we had a major spike in the wind, but before we lost the connectivity, the peak wind gust was at 42, and that makes sense. You see the pixels here displayed in the velocity, the pixel queries, a -44, -48, and that's at radar beam height. So with the surface, they're going to be a little lower than that. So I think that peak wind gust of 42 is probably right on the money based on the radar data we're seeing here. And again, we've not lost radar data. This is coming from the Columbus Air Force Base radar. But again, just some huge rains here falling west and northwest or northeast of Hamilton, or east and northeast of Hamilton. For those that don't know, I'm severely dyslexic. I don't talk about that much, but I have in recent years because so many people fight that. And sometimes it becomes an issue. I've fought that for 48 years. And if you have dyslexia, you're going to be just fine. Don't let that stop you, okay? Your strengths might be in other areas other than reading comprehension. Just trust me, you can work it out. Numbers, I'll rock those things all day. Reading, struggle, numbers, good. But sometimes with the directions and stuff. Boy, look at the Decatur camera. That's a look at the storm that is up on the river northeast of Decatur. These camera shots are amazing. Again, we're rotating through them in the bottom box so you can see all of them across the severe thunderstorm watch area. And remember, you don't have to wait on us. You can pull our app, the Alabama Weather Network app, get it on your phone, tablet. You can see any camera live anytime. It's amazing. And it's almost therapeutic to watch the sunrise in the morning on the beach or over the Tennessee River, or watch the sun go down in the evening. The shots are just absolutely amazing. So again, the Weather Service has let the warning expire in Tuscaloosa and Pickens, and I think they're going to let the warning expire in Perry and Hale, and they're probably going to let the warning expire in Shelby. These are just, they look sub-severe. And I don't think we need a warning for these at this point, so I would imagine these will not be extended. So the focus it's going to be basically on our cluster that's up here in extreme southern Franklin and Marion counties. We're kind of down to one spot to watch here. And again, we've been watching with our camera at Hamilton, and those stronger winds produced a wind gust of 42 at the camera site before it went down. We've lost connectivity with the camera. Still down, Drew?
Yeah, and I was going to mention, Colby also noted that both Phil Campbell and Sullivan are also down, so I don't know if that's power issues or what that we might be seeing in those areas or internet, but yeah, several cameras in the area are
okay, so we've lost Sullivan, Hamilton, and Phil Campbell. We've lost all three of those cameras. Hopefully they'll come back soon. Typically it's related to connectivity, but again, we'll see. So we'll stick with this a little longer. Again, we've got a severe storm that's over Marion County, and I know there are a number of scattered showers and storms statewide, but this is the one that is the strongest, is producing rain rates in excess of 7 inches per hour in spots, tremendous amounts of lightning. There could be some flooding going on here. And again, that is moving to the west into Mississippi. And again, this is really the hot spot at this point. You can see rain over the past 3 hours in excess of 1 inch. Let's pixel query that little yellow spot right there and see what that looks like. That's going to be 2.2. So some parts of Marion County have seen 2 inches of rain today. Another spot of 2 inches that's near kind of between Bear Creek and Haleyville here. So let's go back up to our Tennessee River storm. Again, you can see Decatur up there in the top box. There's a look at that storm that has prompted this warning. And we'll go to the high top radar for a better lower slice into this. And again, this is a storm that is kind of sitting on top of the lake here, Wheeler Lake. Wind velocities come way down. We had a moment where this thing ramped up real quick, maybe potential for a wet microburst, but for the past several volume scans, the velocities have been way down. So again, lightning, thunder, maybe some flooding, maybe a bit of small hail here, but again, I think we probably still have some small hail falling west of Trinity here, north of Alabama 20, alternate US 72, and a chance of some hail maybe right on the river. But again, in terms of damaging wind, we don't see that right now. Mainly hail is the concern here. And again, let's take Decatur full screen, Ryan. This is our Skycam at Decatur looking into that storm that's on the river on Wheeler Lake up in the Tennessee Valley. And we've seen some pretty wicked lightning from time to time. And again, heavy rain, gobs of lightning. That's the main issue. The wind potential seems to have gone downhill. It's probably producing some small hail. And again, all of these storms, keep in mind, are moving off to the west today, kind of backwards from the normal rate we have here. But again, this is the camera that is in downtown Decatur that is looking to the northwest right up into that particular thunderstorm that's pretty close to Hillsboro, along Alabama 20, pretty much right along the river. All right, so let's go back to our triple box. And really, the strongest storm of all is the one that's coming through Marion County. And we should mention that the Weather Service in Huntsville has allowed the warning for Franklin to expire, as most of the strong wind potential is now south of Franklin County. So again, I know in Russellville it's pouring and thunder, lightning, and all that, but there's no issue of any wind here. The stronger winds have shifted now west of Hamilton, moving west. And again, these stronger wind velocities will be crossing over into Monroe County, Mississippi. They'll be crossing the state line into Mississippi and moving out of the state. So hopefully, once we get this thing into Mississippi, things can kind of calm down for the rest of the afternoon. These flared really quickly around the lunch hour today. I mean, we basically at 12 noon had nothing on radar, and by 1 o'clock we had a few scattered severe storms in progress. They blew up in a big hurry. And of course, the main thing it's in terms of driving this, it's the heat of the day, the heat, and a pocket of colder air aloft. Getting a little reports of small hail at Pell City. Let's go to let's take a look at Pell City. Again, a lot of people are reporting small hail. Remember, to be severe, a storm has to have large hail. The storms along Interstate 20, including that one at Pell City, you've got some small hail falling right in the middle of Pell City, downtown Pell City, across the interstate up here. Again, the hail tracker shows nothing, but my people are saying it's hailing.
I think it's because it was on the GWX.
Yeah. So again, small hail falling here. Let's go back to the reflectivity, and again, you're going to see other cores like that, including this one that's up around Weaver, Sachs, north of Anniston, around Fort McClellan, back up toward Alexandria. Maybe a little bit of small hail here, but to be severe, you need 1-inch diameter hail or larger. And the hail in Pell City, based on the reports we're seeing, it's quite small at this point. I think we got our Hamilton video back, Drew. According to Old Shoe, our camera officer, John, is the guy in charge of the Skycam network. He watches these things like a hawk. So let's see. According to Old Shoe, it's back.
Yeah.
So let's take Hamilton, if we can, up in the top box. That's Baldright looking back toward Pell City. We're going to go to Hamilton. And let's take that full screen. Thank you, Ryan. Peak wind gust 42 still. Is the data back, Drew, or just the video?
Yep, data's good. Got up to a half-inch of rainfall, a little bit over a half-inch of rainfall now.
Okay, and it looks like the rain rates have decreased. The core of the stronger winds have moved east of Hamilton, so I think that's going to wind up being what were the peak winds for the city of Hamilton, running 40, 45 miles per hour. And keep in mind, this camera is a little elevated. The wind's right down at street level, maybe not quite that high. Maybe 35 or 40, but again, it's been a pretty gusty, active storm for Hamilton. And again, the Weather Service continues a severe thunderstorm warning until that thing moves west out of the state and into Mississippi. And we should mention the warnings for Shelby. Those have gone. The warning for Shelby has gone away. The warning for Perry and Hale, it's gone away. So we are down to just really 2 warnings in the entire state now, which is good. We'll stop the loop here, and I'll just show you our 2 warnings. It's this one and that one. There's a warning in effect for the storm that is in northern Lawrence County. And again, that particular thunderstorm there is pretty close to Hillsboro, along Highway 20, south of the river. And earlier we saw evidence of maybe some strong winds, but quite frankly, the wind velocities have come way down in this storm. Nothing like what we saw 30 minutes ago. And maybe some small hail falling in through here. But again, you've got Cortland here. Town Creek is over here. That's Highway 20. That's the road that runs south of the Tennessee River. US 72 runs north of the river. And so again, I just don't see a reason for that warning to be extended at this point. And notice we're down to 2 lightning strikes, just 2. So this thing is clearly ramped down, which is good. So let's go back to the other one where we got the other warning. And this is the one for Marion County. And the core of this thing will be ultimately moving into Mississippi. We'll pop back on GWX. And again, the stronger wind velocities will be moving out of Alabama into Mississippi. And accordingly, I don't think the warning here will need to be extended. Those stronger wind velocities are coming through northern Lamar and parts of western Marion County. And again, at our Hamilton Skycam, the peak wind gust was 42. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might jog a little bit north on the radar, western Franklin County. They're heading towards Red Bay. There's a little bit of elevated velocity in that area too, so they might be getting some gustier winds. Even though there's no warning there right now, they might get some gusty winds, kind of like Hamilton got recently up in that area.
Yeah, same kind of thing here. That's a good point, Drew. Again, these are radar beam gusts in the 40, 45 mile per hour bracket. So again, you might see a surface wind gust up to 40. And again, that's not severe criteria. That's not. For these warnings to verify, the winds have to reach 58. And we've not seen any measurement of that in any of these storms today, but and occasionally we've seen some very strong wind gusts. So again, winds could be gusting to 40, 45 miles an hour coming into Red Bay here in Franklin County, and that's sub-severe, but again, they're pretty strong. So again, that's basically the one storm we've got left, or these two, the one that's near Hillsborough and Cortland, Town Creek, and then the one we've got in Marion and Franklin counties. In North Alabama. The other storms, and understand, I know, I can read you like a book. You're thinking, well, wait a minute, what about me? We've got thunder and lightning and weird clouds. Well, thunder, lightning, and weird clouds has never been part of the severe criteria. Any storm can have that. We've got some small hail, thunder, lightning, heavy rain, weird clouds, all that with these scattered showers in through here. But again, no evidence that these are at severe limits, none whatsoever. Along Interstate 20, although looks like we just got a new warning for northern Jefferson here, so let's see what we got here. This is going to be a new warning for northern Jefferson County and parts of extreme eastern Walker and extreme western Blunt. And so again, extreme northern Jefferson, western Blunt, eastern Walker.
And Huntsville also just added southern Coleman as part of, to kind of append to that warning, it looks like.
Okay, so now we've got a perfect square here, basically. So again, this is the new warning. This is for northern Jefferson, western Blunt, southern Coleman, and eastern Walker for these storms that have formed along Interstate 65. And maybe they're issuing this for hail. We're seeing some evidence of hail in these storms in spots. Hayden is here. That's US 31.
Yeah, it looks like to
right
me,
here.
Maybe for the winds, it looks like it might be a little bit of a microburst signature. Don't see anything crazy on the velocity values, but you can see a little bit near Hayden, the possible.
I think it flared for one volume scan, and then it kind of died down again. And that's the way these things have been doing today. They flare, and then they just kind of go away. But again, having said all that, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for southern Coleman, western Blunt, northern Jefferson, eastern Walker, and a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the southwestern corner of Franklin. We've talked about those elevated wind velocities coming into Red Bay. And so that's for the cluster of storms that is northwest of Hamilton. And again, there's a chance of some small hail, maybe some strong winds. Our Skycam, GWX will have a better look at this in terms of the velocity. The Skycam at Hamilton had a peak wind gust of 42. Ooh, take Coleman full screen. Mamadas. How cool is that? You know, sometimes you just see something on these cameras and you just got to go, whoa. Those are Mamadas clouds, which are really, really cool. You see sometimes on the bases of thunderstorms, not necessarily convection. Sometimes you can see Mamadas clouds without convection, but again, that's a great example of what they look like, these pouch-type clouds, and that is coming from our Cullman Skycam. And let me just say that Cullman, the city of Cullman, is not in a warning. The warning is in effect for southern Cullman County, way down below Good Hope. But again, that's what it looks like from the camera there. So let's go back to the triple box. So again, we've got 3 active warnings now. We have the one that's in northern Lawrence County, up here not too far from Cortland, north of Moulton. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for western Marion, southwestern Franklin, and for the cluster that's north of Birmingham, sitting around Blunt Springs. Drew, you ever been to Blunt Springs?
Yeah, I know. I've been through there a few times.
Top hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So again, these storms north of Birmingham are moving in this direction. The air is rain-cooled over here. The temperatures are in the 70s in Walker County, so hopefully this will not last especially long as these migrate to the west into a rain-cooled air mass. So again, that's the current situation. We're live at 3:53. We'll stay with us for a while. Again, we want to stress we have no active tornado warnings in effect. But we've got a cluster of severe storms. We have one up here in northern Lawrence County, around Hillsboro, kind of moving toward Cortland along Highway 20. The wind velocities have come down, not seeing any major problems here at this point. We've got a warning in effect for southwestern Franklin and the western part of Marion counties. Our Skycam at Hamilton had a wind gust of 42. That was the peak wind there, but you can see stronger wind velocities, maybe at the 55 at radar beam height. That's not that far from the radar site, so winds down at the surface may be reaching 45, 50 miles an hour here in southwestern Franklin County. Quite frankly, that's some of the better wind velocities we have seen here, so strong winds likely from Red Bay down to Interstate 22 in Marion County. Those will be moving into Mississippi soon.
That's a new warning they put out there, though, I guess, right, as well.
It's fairly new, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time we had looked at Red Bay, it wasn't on there.
Yeah, this popped up about 15 minutes ago. In the Weather Service in Memphis, they have issued warnings for their counties in northeastern Mississippi. So again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for the storm complex. It's up around Hillsboro, moving toward Cortland in northern Lawrence County. The wind velocities have come down here, quite frankly. And let's go to BMX. We'll look again at the cluster that's north of Birmingham and kind of do a slice and dice into this thing. So there's a look at the reflectivity. Let's look at the velocity. And at the moment, we're just having a hard time finding much in the way of strong winds here within the radar beam height. I think for a moment we had maybe a sign of a microburst. But again, at the moment, the velocities are down. There's a chance there could be some hail in here. But again, probably not extremely large hail. And again, it just kind of flared up around Hayden. Alabama Highway 150 runs from the interstate through Hayden, back up to Nectar, back up here toward Cleveland. Again, Warrior, Kimberly, Morris is involved in this. The warning technically goes down to Fultondale and Adamsville, Gardendale, Mount Olive. But the core of the heavier reflectivity cores are really in western Blunt, barely stretching into southern Cullman. Technically, southern Cullman County's got a warning here, but the core is staying south of the rivers south of Cullman County down here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yes, ma'am. Go. Emily.
I've got some pictures for you,
Oh, boy.
especially of hail.
Oh, brother.
So, but first, as per usual, our state bird did not make it through.
No.
The storm, this is in Haleyville, so unfortunately it did not make it. However, compared to some of the other ones we've seen.
That thing, you can salvage that one, I think.
Exactly. You can still salvage that one. This is a cool cloud picture. This is from Hartselle there. So very cool picture there. And then here comes all those hail pictures. This is from Pell City. So very small hail, but definitely getting quite a few reports and pictures from that. This is in Hayden. This is a video of that hail falling in Hayden as well. So you can see it bounces off and it's pretty short-lived. And then we also have, this is in Pell City as well. So it looks like a little bit bigger in this video at least. Or maybe it's just easier to see with the black pavement there. But you can also see how, quickly that rain is falling. And we do have some flooding there in that parking lot. So that's what I have for now. But yeah, finally got those hail reports coming in. So.
And you can see the hail is small. That's very small hail. To be severe, the hail needs to be about the size of a quarter. That's 1 inch in diameter. And it looks like most of the hailstones have been pretty small today. All right, so 3:57. We're coming up on 4 o'clock. We've been here for a while. We'll stay with you for a while as long as these warnings continue. And again, there are no tornado warnings today. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for various parts of North Alabama. We have a warning in effect for a storm in northern Lawrence County. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the cluster that's near Blunt Springs and Warrior, north of Birmingham, and for the storms in southwestern Franklin and northwestern Marion counties. Those are our 3 active warnings at this point. And again, the storm that's up here just south of Wheeler Lake, that's around Hillsboro, kind of moving over toward Cortland. Really, it's centered more toward Cortland right now, moving toward Town Creek over here. We've just lost the high wind velocity signatures here. We just don't see that anymore. So I would imagine that this warning will basically not be extended. We just don't see a reason for that. There's no evidence of large hail, no evidence of damaging wind. I know it's pouring, thunder, lightning, and all that, but if you issue a warning for every storm that's gusty and rainy and lightning in summer, it'd be all warnings all the time. Nobody would pay attention. So again, maybe some small hail, gusty winds, but this thing looks sub-severe that's up around Cortland. So we've got a pretty good course south of Red Bay. Again, that was coming from another radar. We'll check the wind velocities here real quick and see what it looks like. A few spots of higher velocities in Franklin County near and north of Red Bay. You can see winds in the radar beam of 53 miles per hour in spots, and that'll be crossing over into Mississippi. And again, you got the Russellville camera looking down into this. But Sadie, take it for a minute. One of you or Drew, I've got to go change a battery here real quick. So the floor belongs to you.
Alrighty. Well, let's take it back here to, we just did a little bit of a recap of the 3 active warnings that we have. But essentially, this is all northern half of Alabama. Been on mute. But yeah. Taking it away here, so we are looking at the northern half of Alabama. We know that some of you guys, to the most southern portions of the state, Alabaster, Shelby County, you guys had been seeing some rain. In many areas, even in Tuscaloosa County and even Clark County, have seen some showers here and there, but we're mostly focused on the northern half of the state. And so if we take a look here, most of these are starting to weaken. So one of the ones that we had been looking at up here near Cortland, Wheeler, much less velocity, much less, wind speeds with these, continuing to look, just less and less with those. We can hop over to the one right on the most western portions of the state here, making its way towards Mississippi. Usually we're used to saying it's coming from Mississippi, right? But you can actually see it tracking towards Mississippi. It'll be out of our hair soon enough here, and it's really just, originally we had some stronger winds, still seeing, around 53 miles per hour, but you have to remember this is at a higher elevation than the ground, so not necessarily going to be seeing even upwards of 50 miles per hour at the ground, and so something we've been watching, but for the most part, at this point, it doesn't look like there's still a potential of hail, but mostly looking to be quite a bit of rain, lightning, and thunder associated with these. And, these stretch as far as, we've got Franklin, Marion County, and Lamar County all a part of this until 4:15. And so that's for another 15 minutes as these head out of the state, more towards the west. Like I said, these are moving east to west, so soon enough they're going to be across the Mississippi line and hopefully out of our hair. And we know that many of you guys are still dealing with quite a bit of rain and lightning, thunder, but for the most part, they're under the severe limits. And even these ones that are under the severe thunderstorm warnings are under severe limits at this time. Right along 65 here, Hayden, Kimberly, Warrior, Highway 31 as well. You guys have the severe thunderstorm warning too, and I believe this one's till 4:30, so a little bit longer than our one that's going to be crossing over into Mississippi until 4:30, Coleman, Walker. But for the most part here, still under those severe limits. Doesn't look like, a few areas, just maybe some pea-sized hail, but definitely nothing too notable. You need at least quarter size, an inch hail in diameter for that sphere. So right now, right along 65 there, Warrior, Kimberly, a little bit of showers, but for the most part, not looking to be something, I'd be worried about as far as winds either. And so that's looking at the Birmingham, north of Birmingham area. But all around, things are really starting to weaken. Our last of the 3 warnings so far, dwindling off, moving towards the west into Mississippi. And for us here, just left over with some lightning, thunder, potential too for that flooding we were looking at, but no active flash flood warnings at this time. Just some instantaneous fast rain rates that at times could have dropped a few inches or so in a few hours, which is notable for low-lying areas or areas more vulnerable for flooding. But to me, it seems like things are really starting to quiet down, which is great news because I know it's been very active here. We've been live for a few hours now, and we've seen some stronger storms push their way right on through. And it's funny, they're actually pushing towards Mississippi. Usually we're talking about them going towards Georgia, right? And so they're actually pushing off towards Mississippi now, and it's looking to be relatively quiet. I'm going to go ahead and switch the radar back over to the Columbus Air Force Base so you can see those storms there. But yeah, for the most part, not near as heavy as they were. Just see here 1 second with that velocity-wise. I mean, yeah, still, 55 mile per hour winds from the radar site, but at the surface, I don't think these are at that severe limit quite yet, but they still are warned for these next 15 minutes. So if you are on that Mississippi line there, Red Bay, Hamilton, guys are still getting the thunder and lightning, but not necessarily anything, severe or too gusty, but still could see some areas of heavy showers and thunder and lightning. Yeah, for the most part, still left over with those 3 areas, one to the very northern half there of Lawrence and into Franklin along the Mississippi line, Marion and Lamar, and then in central Alabama as well with Jefferson and just a little bit of Coleman and Walker counties. So those are the 3 areas we're still looking at, but so far things are really starting to become a lot more quiet. And where we had been seeing a lot of those, spotty showers, also diminishing quite a bit. I mean, we still have, as James was saying earlier, the measles on the radar, but it's not as widespread as it was. We were seeing little bits of rain across much of the state, and now it's dwindling down, very, very much, a lot more quiet.
Dwindling down is good.
Yeah.
Dwindling down is good. But we're going to stay here for just a little bit. It's 4:04, and again, we've got 3 areas we're watching. One, it's north of Birmingham near Warrior and Blunt Springs. Another one up here around Cortland in northern Lawrence County and Town Creek. We've got another one that's near Red Bay down to extreme western Marion County, down to Interstate 22. The storm complex in northern Lawrence seems to be weakening. It's much weaker than it was when the warning was issued. I don't think that will be extended. Again, the storms in far western Franklin and northwestern Marion, those are moving into Mississippi. They'll be out of the state soon. Let's go back to BMX and look at this stuff north of Birmingham for the cluster that is located near Warrior and Blunt Springs along Interstate 65. Let's look at the velocity. And again, we're just having a hard time finding any really well-defined high winds here or large hail at this point. So I don't think these warnings will be extended. Again, technically, the warning includes extreme southern Cullman, western Blunt, northern Jefferson, eastern Walker, this whole region right in through here. But again, the storm just not looking at this point like it's at severe limits, but we'll see how it behaves. So again, we're at 4:06, and we've got scattered storms in progress over the northern half of the state. We have no issues for South Alabama. This is a northern Alabama thing today, little pocket of colder air aloft coming over a very hot, unstable air mass. Storms came up real quick about noon to 1 o'clock today. And some of them have produced some pretty strong wind gusts. Some have produced some small hail. They've all been producing lots of rain and a lot of lightning. And we've had a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings today. We have had no tornado warnings today. We will not have any tornado warnings today. The atmosphere can't produce a tornado with conditions like this. I know maybe you've seen creepy looking low clouds that look like a tornado, but that's scud. It's junk. It means nothing. It's not got anything to do with a tornado. The storms over parts of St. Clair, Calhoun counties. We've had some small hail here, but nothing beyond that. The storms southwest of Tuscaloosa. At one point there was a warning. That was allowed to expire. We've had warnings in Shelby County. That was allowed to expire. That has weakened a good bit. And really, we're just kind of dwindling, as we said, we're dwindling the whole thing down here at 4:07. So we'll stay with this for a little longer. Heavy rain falling along Interstate 65 from near Gardendale and Kimberly north up to Warrior and Blunt Springs and Hayden, which is right here. And again, it's pouring. I mean, this rain is coming down fast. It comes down fast. You can see some of the rain rates at 6.7 inches per hour here near Warrior and near Morris. I mean, it is coming down. So if your commute takes you up Interstate 65 from downtown Birmingham, just be aware for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to see some just absolutely tremendous amounts of rain here. That will be moving west of I-65 soon. And then over here on the other side of the state, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Lamar, western Marion, southwestern Franklin. For the storms here, those are moving into Mississippi. They'll be out of the way soon. Vernon probably pouring. We've still lost that camera at Sullivan, right, Drew?
Let's see. I don't. Is it back or is it still off? Still down? Yeah, still down.
Okay, so we've lost our sky cam at Sullivan is here. Vernon is down here. Sullivan here. Vernon down here. So again, we've lost that camera. Again, not necessarily because of strong winds or internet connectivity is the issue here. But again, heavier storms in northern Lamar that'll be crossing over into Monroe County, Mississippi. And again, the storms northwest of Hamilton back up toward Red Bay, they're in the process of crossing over into Mississippi as well. And these warnings will be expiring soon as those storms move out of the state. And again, the warning to the north, let's see, we're coming up at 4:09. I think this thing goes out. Yes, sir.
So I have on the Molten camera, I have a really neat.
Oh yeah, let's take Molten full.
A really neat view of some of the mammatus clouds. If I take away the banner real quick, you can really see them.
Wow, that's cool.
But also, if I point it real quick, you can see the severe warned storm just to the north of it. So another absolutely gorgeous view coming from Molten.
Yeah, that Molten camera's had some really amazing views today. And we are so thankful for the entire region Skycam network. That storm that's north of Molten is actually up toward Cortland and Town Creek in the northern part of Lawrence County, about 20 miles north of Molten. And based on the trajectory, that'll be coming right down Highway 20, down toward Tuscumbia, ultimately, if it holds together. But again, we've just not seen any evidence of strong winds in this thing in the last, 15, 20 minutes. Let's go back to HTX for a little better look at this one. Again, that'll give us a better look into this. And again, the velocities are just not that extreme. All the wind velocities are under 30, and that's at radar beam height, which is about 4,000 feet off the ground. Down at the surface, the winds are just seemingly not that bad. So again, the main issue, it's just simply a lot of rain, maybe some small hail, thunder, lightning, maybe some minor flooding issues, really right along Highway 20 here, Alabama 20, Cortland back over to Town Creek. And again, that's kind of moving in the direction of Leeton and ultimately Tuscumbia and the Shoals, if it holds together, which it probably will. But again, I just honestly don't think it's at severe limits at this point. It is under our severe criteria. Again, that's a really impressive shot up on that Molten camera, looking back up into this. And again, down below in the bottom box, we have our sky cams kind of rotating through. You can see the various views from all the cameras that are in the severe thunderstorm watch area. And as I look at all the reports, again, I'm just not seeing any sign of damage or major issues at this point, which is good. The storms that are kind of hugging the Alabama-Mississippi state line, Red Bay down to Interstate 22, down towards Sullivan, that's going to be crossing into Mississippi soon. And we'll say so long to those. The air is nice and rain-cooled and stable back in here. All that rain came through Bear Creek, Haleyville, Phil Campbell. Some spots in here with well over 1 inch of rain. That's got the air nice and cool and stable. And that's a thing. For this cluster north of Birmingham, what's going to happen here, this cluster is going to move into a rain-cooled air mass. Jasper, Walker County, they've seen some really big rain earlier today, so this will likely weaken with time. And again, this is pretty much below severe limits at this point. So really and truly, at the moment, I just don't see anything that catches our eye that's dangerous or really severe at this point. And I think based on what we have now, these warnings will likely be allowed to expire and will probably not be extended. And if that's the case, that might kind of wrap up the long-form coverage here for us. We'll stay with us for a little while longer. And again, the promise, if you're new here, we promise to be with you live anytime there is a tornado warning. Okay, but often during severe thunderstorm warnings, we just go live. Why not? That's what we do. This is the Alabama Weather Network. Let's look at, if we can pull up that Cherokee camera. Notice that wind gust of 58 up in the pixel there. We've got a camera at Cherokee, which can kind of look down into this from the north, and those are some pretty high wind velocities.
That's the highest we've seen yet.
Yeah, I will tell you that is the highest velocities we have seen so far. Yeah.
It's whipping.
The winds are sustained at 40. Drew, can we get a gust? Do we know? Let's be sure that's current data.
I don't see gust for some reason as an option, but the sustained wind speed is showing as current, and now just ticked up to 47 on the display here.
Wow!
So it probably will tick up to 47 there here in the next minute or so.
So even though Colbert County's not under a warning, this is the worst storm of the day. I mean, this is the most intense we have seen all afternoon on these cameras, and this is coming from Cherokee in Colbert County. And there's a 47 right there, Drew. There's your 47.
Wow.
Now understand, this is sustained. Okay, this is not a gust. This is a sustained wind at 47. So this thing is really ramped up in southern Colbert County. This is Colbert County, south of the Shoals. And again, this is at Cherokee in the western part of Colbert County, and it is rough. I mean, we've got 79 with the winds sustained at 47. And again, you saw those. Technically, there's no warning, but goodness, that's
65 in one area on the radar.
Within the radar beam height, we're seeing winds to 65, which means down at the surface, we probably have winds gusting to 55, maybe 58. And again, this clearly is the strongest storm of the day. So that's a nasty storm coming through the western part of Colbert County. This is, again, just south of US 72 where the camera's located, a little south of Cherokee. Cherokee is west of the Shoals. And again, this storm's going to be moving into Mississippi soon, but that thing is, that's rough. Now, the winds have come down. We saw the highest sustained winds up there about 45 miles per hour. We know the gusts are higher. The radar is suggesting that. So again, this is the strongest storm of the day we have now. So let's go back to the radar. One thing we want to mention here, that warning for northern Lawrence, that's gone away. It's gone. So the storm that's up around Town Creek, no concern here. The warning that's north of Birmingham, that's going to go away soon. Again, the biggest concern, quite frankly, and the warnings have gone away really for all of Alabama, except for that one spot north of Birmingham. But again, this is where we've got some really strong winds in through here. And again, we've got 44. Look at the Cherokee camera. 44 sustained in Colbert County. And again, I would strongly suggest this is the strongest storm of the day so far. And again, there's a 67 mile per hour pixel at radar beam height, and down at the surface that could easily translate to winds of 50-55 miles an hour. So that is a really big-time storm that is impacting the southwestern part of Colbert County. This is southwest of Florence and the Shoals. And again, those high wind velocities are right here. Again, our Cherokee camera is right down here, right below US 72. And that's the stronger wind velocities are actually just south of the camera site down here. Again, Barton is here, Cherokee is here, Mount Hester is here, and that is just really the kind of wind that can blow down trees and power lines. That can really make a huge impact. In fact, let me peek at the latest power numbers. The statewide number of outages is now 7,772. Yes, sir.
You might want to take Cherokee full real quick.
Yeah, take it full.
Got
oh,
tilted
wow.
down. Look at the trees going there.
Wow. That looks like a landfalling hurricane. That's incredible. I mean, this is not Hurricane Michael. This is Colbert County, Alabama.
Oh, my.
Again, we've had sustained winds at this camera site of 47 miles per hour. I would imagine the winds have gusted to 55 or 60 easily, and that's going to blow down trees and power lines. Again, this is southwest of the Shoals. So let's just leave that camera up for just a second. But again, back to the power count, statewide, 7,772 outages. The county with the highest number of outages is now Marion County. Marion County with 3,100, Walker County 1,200, Franklin County 810. But again, statewide, the outage count is now 7,772. But again, if you're just joining us, that is a live look at a ferocious storm that is coming through the western part of Colbert County. This is west-southwest of the Shoals. And you can see the sustained winds are 43. Again, this looks like what you'd see with Hurricane Frederick, Hurricane Sally coming in on the Gulf Coast. But that is an afternoon storm on a hot summer day in Alabama. And I would suggest this is the strongest storm of the day. Goodness gracious. So we'll go back and do the triple box here. And we don't have a formal warning in effect here. But still, trust me, that is its severe limits right here. So again, south of US 72, south of Cherokee, south of Barton, these really strong wind velocities are about to move into Mississippi. And so those strong winds moving out of Colbert County in about the next 10, 15 minutes. And again, that has been a really, really rough ride down here. That's just bad. But let's look at the big picture, and let me just show you the warnings have gone away. I mean, they have all gone away. Let's stop the animation and just look at the current real-time data. The only warning we've got is this thing north of Birmingham, and let's look at the BMX radar, and that's weakened tremendously, and that's well below severe limits. There's just no evidence of anything severe. This warning will not be extended. So, in essence, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings statewide. But I tell you, this thing at Cherokee, south of Barton, that's a nasty storm, producing enough wind to blow down trees and power lines. And that is the storm of the moment, which is located right here. All right, so again, we've got that storm south of Cherokee, south of Barton, moving into Mississippi. Remember, the storms today are moving backwards. They're not moving to the east, they're moving to the west. Let's go back to GWX, the Columbus Air Force Base radar. And again, for Marion County, severe weather is over for you. For Franklin County, there's no warnings in effect here. The big concern is just the spot right there in southwestern Colbert County. And this is still producing really, really strong wind velocities. And those strong wind velocities are about to cross into Mississippi. Thankfully, the winds are starting to subside at Cherokee. You can see the winds are now down to 25, and those are sustained winds, not a wind gust. At one point, we had a sustained wind approaching 50 miles per hour. But again, it's still pretty rough at the Cherokee Skycam site there. But the temperature's down to 73. That's the one positive here. For those that did have a big thunderstorm today, the wind velocities have come way down. Yes, 7449, that's the latest statewide power outage count. Marion County, 3,100 without power. Walker County, 1,100 without power. Franklin County, 831. So again, statewide, about 7,500 without power at this point. So this severe storm in Colbert County is about to cross over into Mississippi, moving in the direction of Tishomingo. Heads up for those of you that are watching us there. We thank all of our viewers in Mississippi that watch us, even though we are the Alabama Weather Network. A lot of people do. Again, the storm that is in northern Lawrence County, that's below severe limits. The warning has gone away there. All the warnings have gone away in West Alabama. And again, north of Birmingham, this warning will be going away in a matter of minutes. I think that warning goes out at 4:30. Let's look north of Birmingham. 4:30. This will be gone at 4:30. So at 4:30, this goes off the board. And again, that's coming from GWX. We'll go back to the Birmingham radar for a lower slice into that. And again, that's just basically good old-fashioned afternoon summer thunder showers. 9 lightning strikes. Winds not bad, no hail. So this is weakened tremendously, and that warning goes away. So really, in a matter of minutes, we'll kind of be able to phase this thing down as the severe storms in northwest Alabama have crossed into Mississippi, and the storms north of Birmingham have weakened, and the air has been pretty worked over. It's been raked over the coals today. So additional severe storms not likely. Yes, ma'am.
I've
Emily.
got some pictures, some videos, and
We
some
love it.
damage reports. So first, there are reports of a tree down in Russellville and a tree down on a residence in Red Bay. That came from the National Weather Service, Huntsville. They reported those. And there's also reports of nickel-sized hail coming from a fireman in Birmingham, County Road 121 and Highway 431, that intersection there. And then if we take a look at this video, this is from Red Bay, a little Franklin County area a little while ago, and you can see those trees were they were really having a hard time in that wind there. So very strong winds that came through the area there. And then this is more hail. We got more hail pictures, so I wanted to show a few more of those. Again, Pell City, small hail from there. This is hail in Lincoln, more small hail. And you can kind of see in their yards there, you're getting ponding in the yards. This is a picture down, sorry, it's sideways, but this is a picture down in, I believe this was in Red Bay as well, so tree down there. And then that's all I have for you right now.
Okay, Emily, thank you. And again, for everybody, thank you for sending in photos and videos. We cannot show them all, but like we always say, we see them all in real time, and it makes a huge difference. It's our window to the world, so thank you for that. So we're at 4:23. In a few minutes, this warning goes away. The severe storms in Colbert are moving out of the state, and basically we're left with just a few scattered moderate to strong storms that are sub-severe. And the odds of additional severe weather, I'd say, for the rest of the afternoon are low. Technically, we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 8. That will be canceled earlier. We don't need that to stay in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Again, the bottom line is things are ramping down at this point. And for the storms over here in Atlanta that are severe, those should weaken as they cross into East Alabama later this evening. Storms along Interstate 20, those are not especially strong. It's raining. It's not a good day to be driving, but it's raining heavily around the Talladega Superspeedway, raining at Lincoln. And again, nothing severe here. Storms southwest of Tuscaloosa, Pickens, Greene, Hale counties, strong but not severe. Storms along the Tennessee River, Wheeler Lake up here, strong, not severe. Cherokee County, you bet your buddy, that thing was severe, and that's crossing over into northeastern Mississippi, but it's moving out of the state, away from Cherokee, away from Barton, away from Florence and the Shoals. And again, this stuff up here, that's junk convection, so that'll be off the board here in a few minutes. So we'll stay with this for a few more minutes. By the way, Old Shoe tells me the peak wind gust at Cherokee was 49. That is a peak wind gust at Cherokee of 49 miles per hour that came through there earlier. And again, if you watched that camera about 30 minutes ago, it looked like Hurricane Michael was making landfall in Colbert County, Alabama. Tremendous winds. That's the storm of the day for us, is the one that came through Colbert County. And so, again, we thank everybody for your watching us today and putting your faith in us. And it's our goal to be with you during high-impact events. We've had no tornado warnings today, but we thought on a hot summer afternoon with these severe thunderstorm warnings, we just go live and stay with you for a while here. So what we're going to do is wind this coverage down. Again, this warning goes away in 5 minutes. It's done. There are no severe storms anywhere in Alabama. No severe storms anywhere in Alabama. We don't expect any additional warnings this evening. Tomorrow might be a similar type day. We got a marginal risk of severe storms tomorrow. But again, we want to thank you for watching us this afternoon, our live coverage on the Alabama Weather Network.
Live